we actually have some Darklord action today. Radiant Typhoon's been getting pretty spicy, and yes, we have Elfnote too. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oscon. You know, I love actually watching Darklords be a real deck, honestly. It's refreshing just to see kind of like the impact that this deck is able to do. And also, I mean, we just got Fallen Angel in Darkness. Obviously, a lot of builds are not really wanting to play this as more of a one-of. I mean, in a lot of situations, you know, you board this in, it becomes a free extender to get you, into Morningstar, which is actually kind of nice. And then, you can kind of get to go into like the fun little extra play lines that you would normally not really get to do. Now, you're going to notice, I mean, a lot of our decks got some funny little super poly targets built into it. Because at this stage, like, your deck has to be able to super poly. Like, given the current circumstances, this has to be the best provided board breaker that you can actually get into to do things. We're also only choosing to play one copy of Forbidden Crown. Mr. DJ Yehudi ends up searching it. So it ends up being something that, is in-house searchable. It's either that or you're going to bridge into a droplet. It's just going to depend on the situation you find yourself in for, generic access. In terms of the rest of the stuff, one contact is fine. One dance is perfectly okay. You're also going to notice, yes, we are going with triple Terminus. I mean, Terminus ends up being a generically broken card that allows you to switch. You gotta remember, it gets you into any Dark Fairy. And at the trade-off, oh no, you can't attack direct for the rest of this turn. Sure, man. Return wanting setting up anyway, so, this really isn't much of a downside. It's just more or less an inconvenience that's being presented at this stage. So I think you can very easily, pivot around the downside to, this deck. So honestly, not too bad, though. I do like actually having the Psyframe cards down here to help us as well. Next up, we get to see, this is becoming a very common trend, this format. I feel like I missed this. So a lot of the Radiant Typhoon decks have said, what if we just build in a very small Speedroid package in here? Because this card right here generically gives you access to be able to, use that. And I don't think anybody has really thought about that yet. So, I mean, what? The only real thing you get out of this is we get win-locked. To be able, can't social summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for Synchro Monsters. Well, that's not exactly like the worst potential, because the way that you're going to try to get to things here is you want to be able to get to a Bread Hair, which a Bread Hair gives you a monster banish, banishes anything it battles, and then if your opponent finds a way to out this, it's going to board wipe all of your opponent's back row because it destroys all spells, destroys all spells and traps the opponent controls if it's destroyed by an opponent, which is fine. Keep in mind it says by an opponent's card, so that's technically by battle or by card effect. So that's definitely interesting. But in terms of the rest of where this deck is going, I see we are choosing to play one Noble Arm Shield Bearer. Shield Bearer, I think, is fine in these lists, especially it gives you one extra way to be able to toggle into your Wind Beast monsters. So technically, I mean, we're playing 4 copies of whatever, you're going to want with this. Honestly, the loss of Chant just allowed this deck to go explore some other things. So right now, Radiant Typhoon is now bridging towards the idea of Rubber Band Shooter, but also, getting access to Georgius being an incredibly broken card is really good. I mean, also like that you're side decking additional consistency upgrades in here. We have the Shield Bearers, and we also have the 2 Celestial Storm Twins, if we need to bring them in to kind of handle any real other metagame problems that you're going to be running into. So that's really, really cool. Next up here, we have Elfnote. Now, this is actually playing the Regulus stuff. So, I mean, we can reveal one other spellcaster in the hand. You lose life points equal to its level times 300 if you do special summon this card. I mean, sure. Do you know how many spellcaster monsters your entire deck has access to, people? Like, this just ends up being a free extender, and obviously, we can Empire of Endymion toggle into this so you can do your thing. Also, this is acting as another level 4 base for you to be able to work with, which actually I don't think is too terrible. I guess that's your takeaway, right? You're playing a synchro deck. You need as many capable lines of going through the plays that you can possibly get. So if playing something like Regulus gets you an extender so you can kind of do what you need to do, it's good. I also see we're playing 2 Elfnotes Welcome Home, and we're playing 1 copy of the Elfnotes Rhapsody. We're also playing the 1 copy of Arrow of Regulus. I mean, what? This gives us destroy 1 monster your opponent controls at battle this turn, or when a normal quick play spell is activated, negate that effect. Spell negate is pretty little cheeky for this deck. Other interesting things. I see we are side decking Denko Sekes. We're back at the point now where Denko Rekka is a considerably interesting tech choice. Because, I mean, what? You're able just to lock out anything that the opponent's got set. So that means, you know, back row decks just kind of quiver in fear by what you're spinning at them. So it's actually kind of nice. I also like that we are playing the Chaos Archfiend down here. You know, in terms of your extra deck, it's so weird to see that, like, the Fiendsmith stuff has just been gutted out of the deck. You know, the deck is now way more reliant on just being an actual build for you to work with. So I kind of do like that. There are, you know, some logics to be had with that. So not too bad. Next up here, we have Ryzel Mitsurugi. Now, if you had told me still in 2026, after all the limitations that we'd been through with this, that, you know, people in the TCG, even after, you know, Habagiri had went to 1, that people would still be trying to play this, I'd call you crazy. But there's another little challenger in the room here that's trying to see play. They've managed to build in the MathMech cards into this list. Now, what does MathMech give you? Superfactorial access, actually. Superfactorial, I guess, is just a funny little thing. Getting to exceed into a MathMech exceed monster. So you're telling me that, you know, we can just go on into the stupid effects of this thing and then rip, you know, all of the funny little things away from the opponent. Yeah, that appears to be the case. So we're using Superfactorial to provide us with the Laplacian rips during the opponent's turn, or we're just using it as a generic form of interruption. Either way, congratulations. I'm glad to see that, you know, people are realizing, oh, hey, you know, we can still use these MathMech cards in a more successful way. There are things that can be done with this. Also, I mean, this build's just playing 2 copies of 7 Tachyon. I also see that we're playing Divine Golden Dragon here. That's the only rank 8 we're playing, though. So I guess it's one of those things. It's like, if you do get into, you know, the stack up of these things, you know, the rank 8s, or the level 8s, you know, and we do get to Dragluxion to bridge into the secondary combo, it still allows you to bridge into the other ley lines to be able to kind of do things. So overall, this is probably one of the most creative decks I've seen in a while, and that's a lot saying with what we've been working with within the existing meta. So good stuff. I do hope to see some more success with a variant like this. And then next up here, we actually have Power Patron with the Archmage stuff. It's a little bit more down to earth, right? Like, so the deck is still Board Breaker Central, you know, using Book of Eclipses and Super Polys and even Droplets to, you know, push through these big threats that the opponent sets up. But you do have the actual backing of the Archmage cards to be able to kind of set up your, you know, little board and just kind of ride it through to be able to do what you want to be seeing. I also see, obviously, all the Power Patron names are present, even if they're like one-ofs. They also managed to get this deck down to 42 cards, which is... honestly, I'm more impressed with the fact that they somehow managed to get this down to the low quantities, and we're actually, you know, seeing this work out. So that's actually pretty impressive, all real things considered. But this is what you've been looking at a lot of this format. It's been different ways to make the Archmage deck successful. And 2 field spells, I think, is great, you know, going with all of the rest of the tools you've got here. Even, like, access to Recapture just helps this deck's consistency out so much more than you kind of expect. Also, you know, being able to end on the final turd of the end of times is actually pretty nice. So a lot of good metagame developments happening here. We're going to kind of continue to see, you know, if Darklords will kind of hold up, or if some of the other challengers in today's video will still be here in a week or so. So take a second to leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will in fact see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.